Last question, number 33. I'm supposed to find all the zeros. So I'm expecting 4 solutions because it's degree 4. I'm going to look to see if this factors. We can look into factoring by grouping, like if I cut this in half, I should get like a 2x plus 3 or something like that. This is definitely not going to be 2x plus 3. If we notice, though, each of these has an x, so I'm going to factor that out. We call that the greatest common factor. Okay. Ugh. Focus, everybody. It was a pun, because, I hit the focus on the camera. Moving on. So now, this x out front, if I was to set this equation equal to 0, I'm saying what would I plug into this x to get it to 0? So basically, what am I plugging in for x to make it 0? That's got to be 0. Which is why I sometimes say the lonely x out front is such a 0. Because I'm so dang clever. Right. We already said this isn't going to work with factoring by grouping. So I need to do the factors of the last and the factors of the first. Okay, 20, that's like 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, and 20. The first number is 1 and 2. And so I need to do plus or minus the last over the first, so 1 over 1, 2 over 1. Since all these are over 1, I'm just going to write those again. Okay. Now I'm going to do the 1 over 2. 2 over 2 is just 1, which I already have. 4 over 2 is 2. Then I have a 5 over 2. 10 over 2 is 5, and 20 over 2 is 10. So this is my full list. Now we need to test him. So I'm going to grab my calculator, and I'm going to hit y equals, and I'm going to type the equation in. You might be wondering, do I type in this whole thing? Do I do just the parentheses? Do I include the x, or do I do the original? It honestly doesn't matter which one you do, because it will work for any of them. I'm going to choose the typed out one because it looks nicer than mine does. Cubed minus 31x squared plus 20x. So I'm going to hit second and then the mode button to quit out of that. Vars, yvars, function, y1. Put in parentheses, and I'm going to start guessing. So 1, that didn't work. So I'm going to go second, enter, to get this entry again, because now I can just change the stuff in the middle. It's not working. And we're just going to keep trucking along our list. Ooh, that was a big one. Aha! Found it. -5. So we test that with our synthetic division. We're going to check for placeholders. 4, 3, 2, 1. We are good to go. Okay. Sorry, we're checking on this one. 3, 2, 1. Either way, we're good. So 2, 3, -31, 20. Once again, I should have just said I'm pulling the placeholders from the stuff in the parentheses, because that's what I've done all this for so far. Drop, multiply, add, multiply, add. Nope, this is positive. That is definitely a positive 4. And then multiply, add. Just as a side note with this, honestly, that would have been a really easy spot for me to make a mistake and then been confused. So my biggest suggestion I can give to you for this whole entire test is to take it slow and just really take your time on these. Okay, so I'm going to work with this space because I haven't had this yet. This is like such a privilege. 2x squared minus 7x plus 4. We're going to check to see if this factors. So if I do the glasses, that's an 8x squared. Does anything multiply to 8 and get me negative 7? I know you'd be tempted to do, 8 and 1, but mind you, that'd have to be a negative 8 and a positive 1, but this is a positive 8. So it's either 1 or 8, or 2 and 4. Basically, it's not going to work. So we go into our quadratic formula, which we could do even if it did factor, because this will work every single time. C equals opposite b, so it becomes positive 7, plus or minus the square root, b squared minus 4 times a times c, all over 2a. And I'm going to use the calculator to do that, because I trust the calculator more than I trust me. Negative 7 squared minus, once again, that negative 7 better be in parentheses. If it's not, you will get it wrong, and I will say, sorry, not sorry. You need to learn to type it in. Anyway, that was probably a little harsh. Anyway, okay. Negative 7 in parentheses squared minus, not negative, minus 4ac. Looks like we get a 17. Okay, just going to adjust that. 7 plus or minus the square root 17 over 4. And doesn't look like that reduces at all. So I have this one, and these two. 7 plus square root of 17 over 4, and 7 minus square root of 17 over 4. And there we go.